series. Last month, Understood hosted the first part of the series, where we introduced the Take Note tool and getting into the mindset. Now, in part one, we covered how the Take Note tool provides parents with step by step suggestions of what to look for, what to do, and how to document behaviors that they may be noticing in their children, and if they're worrisome. So, we're going to explain that the tool is N for noticing any difficulties or behaviors, O for observing and keeping track of patterns, T for talking to people that can help, like pediatricians, caregivers, or teachers, and then E for engaging your child to get more information and figuring out how you can help them thrive. Now, that leads us to today's chat, how to speak to loved ones about learning and thinking differences. And we have the pleasure of speaking to one of our understood experts, Cristina Jáuregui. Now, she's going to share how to compare, share information with those closest to our children, and helping them understand and make sense of what we're seeing. Cristina is a psychotherapist, writer, lecturer, broadcaster, and presenter, and we're so glad to have you today. Hi, Cristina.
Hi, Onyi. I am so happy to be here with you. Thank you for that introduction. And let's start talking about all these important subjects to help the parents, the kids, and all the caregivers that are around these people and these wonderful children that need so much help.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And we'd love to hear from you, our audience, on any of your thoughts or comments. So please post them along with any questions in the chat box, okay? Now, let's start with learning and thinking differences, or LTDs. They can be difficult subjects to discuss. And, your partners or caregivers may not be on the same page. So, what is important when you start the conversation?
Well, one of the things that I think it's the most important is first to understand where you are standing. You as a parent, you are as a caregiver, because sometimes or all the time we have different ideas and we understand the problem in different times. What do I want to say with this? That sometimes we are faster to understand something that is happening in our family with our kids, and sometimes it takes us a lot of time to understand and to accept what's happening in the family. So the first thing I think it's very, very important is to make a stop and try to put your ideas in order. I would suggest to sit down maybe with a therapist, or maybe with your mother or with someone you love, or maybe alone with just a piece of paper, and start writing down all the ideas you have, like all the things you have been watching, and that you think that something is happening to your girl or to your boy, and that you want your partner or the people that are with you to understand that you are aware that something is wrong or something is different, because it's not wrong, it's just different. So I would say that that would be the first thing to do, to make a stop in your life and to write down all the ideas. Then, when you have all the ideas written down, then you can ask whoever you want to share it with, or you need to share it with, to make an appointment. One of the things that is really, really important is to understand that we all live in different times. So maybe I am running, maybe I am busy, maybe I am at work. So I need to tell the other person that I want to have a conversation, an important conversation, a conversation that needs all my attention. And so I suggest to make an appointment to sit down and talk about these important subjects. And one of the things that is really important, Noni, is also to tell the other person what you are going to talk about. Because it's really known in our society that when someone comes to you and tells you, I want to talk about something, we start wondering, no, what is this person going to tell me? Is he mad at me? Or is she mad at me? So let's, since the beginning, put the subject on the table and tell the people that you want to talk to, I want to talk about our kids, or I want to talk about our daughter, and I want to talk to you about some things I have been watching, observing, and I am worried about. So, but I think we have to have the real special atmosphere to have the best conversation we can have.
I'm so glad you said that because it's so often that one or other caregivers or parents may not be on the same page with what's going on. And so it may cause a lot of anxiety. And so really recommending what can we do to get past that hurdle of not being on the same page with everyone else who thinks that maybe it's okay, it's something to ignore, there's nothing really happening.
Exactly. And why that happens? Because usually we are in denial. We sometimes don't want to see what's happening
Mhm.
because of one really, really concrete thing. And this is we are afraid. That's we are afraid because we don't know what we're dealing with. And also we have so many ideas when our kids are born about how we want them, what we're expecting about them. If we have a boy or if we have a girl, we usually start thinking about all the things that they should be doing. Like, for example, my boy should be in, I don't know, playing football, or my boy will be the best in his class in mathematics because I am the best in mathematics, or I was, or my daughter should know history perfectly because I am a historian. I don't know, all the ideas we have when we receive our babies.
Yeah.
And sometimes to break all those ideas, those things that sometimes I say we are like little kids dreaming, no, what we expect of our kids, and we don't stop to see who our son or our daughter is. But sometimes that is a barrier to be able to talk. That's one of the things, Oni, that happens. And all other thing that happens, Oni, is that also we start thinking that we are the ones to blame because of the things that are happening in our family. We think that we are not good parents, that maybe we did something wrong, that it's our problem, that we are to blame, and we hate to be blamed, and we hate to be feel ashamed. And
Yeah.
so all these different emotions that we have to deal with are usually emotions that if we don't treat them as we have to, if we don't elaborate them, I don't know if you say it like that in English, if we don't work with them as we go on,
Yeah.
then they are barriers for communication between the couples. They
Yeah.
are barriers for communication because they keep blaming one another
Yeah.
and themselves that something is wrong because they did something wrong. So I think it's a complex, and it's very difficult sometimes to establish a conversation because of all these things that happen around the parents or the caregivers.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you say that because I definitely support giving that grace and that space for your child and your partners to be themselves, to explore themselves, learn themselves. And so I definitely agree with you there. I wanted you to just even continue to talk more about how to continue that open communication once you do start getting the ball rolling with the conversation. How do we continue to just keep those lines of communication open?
First of all, I think when we put over the table that it's not anyone's fault what is happening, that we have a wonderful girl or a wonderful boy, that the only thing is that he learns in a different way, but that can be a wonderful thing also, because I think that one of the things we have to understand in this world is that we are all different, and
Yeah,
sometimes we want to put everyone in the same box. No,
yeah,
that's one of the things that has been happening since millenniums, no?
Yeah.
So when we sit down and we understand that it's not my fault, it's not your fault, and that together we can start to walk in a different direction, I think that's really good for starting a conversation, because we can start a conversation with the same object
Yeah.
on mind, with the same finishing line, no? So
Yes.
uh, when you start a conversation with something that you have prepared, and you are giving time to the other person to prepare as well, then we can sit down and start talking about the points that we want to talk about. One of the things that I want to tell the people that are watching us is that we have to know that the most important thing is our daughter or our son.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing, his wellness. And we have to understand that until that day when we realize that something was wrong, he has been having a hard time, because it's almost certain that he has been in school. The teachers have been telling us, or maybe they have been suffering from bullying. That we know that this is happening all the time. So our kid may be um, by that time with a lot of pain in his mind, in his soul. He would feel awkward, different. He would feel sad, maybe, that he doesn't belong. And that's just because it's difficult to fit in a world that wants us to be all the same, as I was saying before. So we have to have in mind that the most important thing is to help our kid, and that is possible, because this is why we are doing these chats and why we are making this movement worldwide to say that, of course, this is possible. There are different ways to learn, and our kid can learn if, in a different way, and he can be perfectly adapted to his own world. So I think that's the second thing that we should put over the table. This conversation is not to blame us, not to say everything that we have been doing wrong,
Mhm.
but on the contrary, this conversation should be to talk about her or him, and to decide what's the road to take to help them be in a better place.
Yes. Okay. So different cultures and generations have different views of learning, thinking, and attention differences, which can be difficult, especially when they're living under one roof. So I know from experience that there can be cultural bias and stigmas. So tell me, what do you think we can do as a suggestion of how to educate them, whether it's to support a child through a diagnosis, therapies, treatment? What would you suggest in this situation?
First of all, I think that it's really, really important to talk to the people that are living in the same roof, and to try to make them understand what's going on. For example, Oni, if we are talking about younger children, or the siblings of our child that has this problem, or this different situation, I think we can try to see movies, watch movies. Maybe we can buy a book,
Mhm.
or something that can make them understand what's going on. And but the first thing we have to do is talk to our child and tell him that even though he has a different ability to learn, that he's perfectly normal, and that we are going to try to help him, not only the parents but also the whole family, the whole people that are living in the house. Sometimes, as you will say, we have different generations. Like, for example, they can be living with their grandparents, and it's really usual, it's common that grandparents want to help, and sometimes they have different ideas, or maybe they don't know the subject as well as we do. So we have to keep calm, and I want to point this again and again, that we have to understand that people have different ways to understand. Even sometimes our childs that have different abilities to understand, they teach us to see the world in a different way. What do I want to say about this? That sometimes that's the way that we understand that our parents or the grown-ups, maybe they are slower right now, or maybe they think their idea is the best idea and they don't want to move from their ideas. So we have to understand that we are all in a different rhythm. So we
Yeah.
have to try to adjust to the rhythms of everyone. I think it sounds a great task, but it's not once you have the patience to sit with each one of them and to try to explain them what's going on and
Yeah.
what are the things that you have decided with the whole group that you are working with to do to help your child, for example. No, maybe we have to have more um, a more a schedule that is more compact. What do I
Yeah.
mean? Or maybe we have to be more exigentes with the schedule, no? And so we have to tell our grandparents that they have to help us in order to help our kid. I think that when we explain everyone else that what we are trying to do is help someone we love, then through love, we can make everyone understand that this is a plan that together, the family, if we are all together, we can help our kid, the person we love, to have a better life, an easier life, a
Mhm.
normal life, as we talk normal. No, I don't like that word. In Spanish, I don't
I
use
feel
it that
you.
much because
Yes,
who is normal, Oni? Who is normal, no?
exactly.
But
And I
try
totally agree with
try to be happy, what we want to do. And of course, yeah, try to be happy. And one of the things that I think it's more important is one of the things we have to understand is that our mission in life as parents is help our kids to grow the best way
you.
we can help them to grow and be independent, that they can take care of themselves,
Yes.
and of course they have to be happy, whatever that means to them. No, and so we have to be respectful of that. We have to give them love. And so when we have that idea really clear, then the way we get to that point is usually in a better mood, with love in between, with patience, with good emotions to help them get through that. Sometimes it's not that easy with the other people that are living around the house, especially with siblings, because these kind of kids they are used to get a lot of attention. And
Mhm.
sometimes we have to talk to the other siblings to make them understand that maybe in this moment he or her is having a lot of attention because he
Yeah.
needs it. But also, as parents, we have to understand that we have to give quality time to all of our kids. And that's
Yes.
very important also, because sometimes we have kids without thinking how much work we are going to have to be doing in order to help them grow in a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with you there. I think from my point of view as a parent, I definitely help the caregivers, grandparents to really look at it as through a viewpoint of gratefulness. We're grateful that we know how we can help our child and how we can support them and to give them love and being happy in who they are. I think that changing the perspective instead of, feeling like, oh, downtrodden with what this difficulty is, but really just looking at the grateful aspect of things can really change the mindset of everyone. But
I
thank
am
you.
sure of that. And also, one of the things that I think it's really, really important is to understand that we all have different capacities, that
Mhm.
we have different intelligence. We can even read about that. We now know that. And so if you have a difficult to read or to learn maths, but maybe you are really good at something else, because this is the world we're living in. We have different intelligence, and so we just have to help our kid, or our girl or our boy, to find in what he is really good, because I'm sure they have thousands of other capacities. So we have to help them, find them, and experience them, and be happy with the way they are.
Mm. Yes, yes, I totally agree there. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys, if you have any questions, please make sure to leave them down in the chat, and we'll be here next time.